Hello.
Cerveza cristal. Cerveza cristal.
Hello.
I'm still doing all the essentials. I'm sorry. I thought I got this done, but I didn't. Give me a few. Give me a few. Dang. Oh, wait. No, I already did that one. Delete that. Ding, ding, ding. Dong. I am... Give me a minute! Give me a minute! I'm almost there! I'm almost there! I'm almost there! I'll say something funny, I swear. Just give me a minute right now before I... Alright, cool. I think I've done it everywhere that I needed to do. We go into the screen right now, and... hands, there we go. There's the hands. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Damn commercials. I just got the commercials done. There shouldn't be any advertisement for you for, like, the next, like, hour. You got 6. Oh, that would have happened because of, Give it a refresh when you're done, Wild Saber. That might have been because of the advertisement, like, way back, I'm sorry to say. Need some laughs right now, really depressed, lost 2 of your friends, was banned from the stream and friends group because couldn't stop and think before I speak. Ah. If you got pre-rolls, you just get attacked with ads starting the stream. So, okay. Sorry, important distinction. I don't know what advertisements everyone gets on Twitch. I don't know. I don't get to pick what advertisements run on my stream. And rather than people deal with like pre-roll ads and what have you when they go into my stream, I do like the 3-minute thing at the start. I try and have it where it does the 3-minute advertisement right at like the 1 minute into the stream mark. That's why normally you see me, starting the stream before 6. So then that way when it does get to 6 o'clock and everyone starts pouring in and what have you, there is no advertisement for pre-rolls or something like that. Right now, I see me getting some kind of publishing studio showcase and all the games look like shit. Oh, you mean Microsoft? Damn it, I'm not in the Discord. I can't do the baduntis. All right, here we go. Do you mean Microsoft? That did not go through the right what's-a-mahoozy thing. Hang on a second. I need to fix that. Show the window. Infinity something. Not sure. You stopped paying attention. Infinity Ward. I don't know. It's probably not Infinity Ward. All right. Mic in, and then to the wave. X. Oh, okay. So it's the wavelength is going to the wrong thing. Open this up. Ding dong. The monitoring mixing. It needs to go through the default device. There we go. So now I should be able to hear it. All right, so wait, there's a lot of information. All right, so Wild Saber got banned from a stream. I don't know who you got banned from and what have you. I know you're in a bit of an emotional. Did I say something? No, not yet. I'm saying something now. Also bimbo rating 2. Oh my goodness, do I have to put in like? Oh my goodness, do I have to like put in the? Hang on a second. This is dumb. I thought I made the word bimbo, like, fine for the what's-a-mahoozy thing. But apparently, permitted terms and phrases. Alright, I am going to need to add, like, ding, save. Alright, so I need to do... This already exists in the list. Alright, says it expires in thingy-madiggy. Alright, I'm going to do an exclamation point. For some reason, himbo doesn't get, like, the ban and what have you, but bimbo does. Is it possible that Twitch reset it? I don't think it's that Twitch reset it. It's just the case that if I'm saying bimbo or himbo and all that kind of such, because I'm the person that's, like, doing the chat and what have you, I don't get the auto mod in my own channel. But, yeah. Man, that's sexist of, That's honestly very sexist of Twitch, where it's just like, oh, himbo is okay, but bimbo isn't alright. It's like, what the fuck? So I get to have, like, self-actualization with the himbo phrase, but the minute a woman or anyone wants to use bimbo, try herbo instead? Okay, but alright, but here's the thing, is that herbo is, like, that's, like, sure, that's feminine, but you're going into, like, a side... Like, I'm gonna have to whip out the chart here, because then you go into the, like, the himbo and herbo are, that's your Chris Hemsworth from, like, Thor kind of thing, and Xena the Warrior Princess, or whatever, that was the spin-off from the Hercules TV show. And then you got your himbim... Sorry, you got your him... And then you got your himbim, but then you got your bimbo. Do you see that, like, we had to, like, the woman get both herbo and bimbo, which kind of makes sense, but with the himbo, it's like, they had to kind of invent another himbo term in order to try and make the, like, the bimbo, like, the more feminine of the male, and it's like, yeah. Anywhoosies, so, to clarification time, I have made it so that the robot Zeebs, respects pronouns, though. So if I do thembo, it knows what my, thingy-madiggy is, and it, because I put down he, him as my stuff, so it automates to himbo. If Izzy puts down himbo, because Izzy has set that her, pronoun. She is 85% bimbo. Hopefully this is respectable, and I'm not going to be in trouble for this one. This is going to be really annoying. If, like, I just wish it was just, like, maybe I need to, like, lower the auto mod. Who knows? And then Joey has also done their pronoun thingy-madiggy. So, yeah. And then if you haven't set your pronouns, then it will just default to which of the thingy-madiggies you've done. So if it's, like, exclamation point himbo, it gives you your himbo rating. If it's exclamation point bimbo, it's your bimbo rating. If it's exclamation point thembo, it's your thembo rating. So... yeah. Glad to see everyone's using it, and it's working so far. Ooh, actually, question. What happens... so if I do himbo, and then I do Sashera, is it gonna change it? Yes. Okay, so it does grab so it grabs the pronouns of the user. That's good. It didn't grab my pronouns for that user. That's cool. Awesome. Excellent. The thingy-madiggy is working. Wait, hang on a sec. I didn't do the code correctly for that one. I need to fix that one. Hang on a second. I'm gonna need to fix that one. That one didn't work. 91% himbo detected in Twitch. Cool. Alright, isn't very, is trying to be, reaching, you get in there, look at those. Okay, I'm gonna need to update some of these messages. Is, you can certainly be one of the, message, damn, where'd you get those? Is rating percent, that's the sexy number, is a real, thing at percent. Ah, okay, found it. Found it. Found the thingy-madiggy. I found the, hi there, Het. Welcome to the stream. Alright, so squiggly line. And...
pull the lever.
not pulling the lever!
Wrong lever.
Message rating. Is that... yep, so message rating is what I want. Message rating approaching. Warning rated in... warning...
My day be so fine. Then boom. Morning.
Message rating. There we go. Alrighty then. Compile. Yep, I compiled. Alright, so I'm gonna need to like expand upon my little dictionary of terms, because like I grab the pronouns object lower in order to... actually, why am I explaining this to you? I shouldn't explain how my robot gets these very accurate ratings. Almost finished work. Nice work, Angrel. Excellent. Good for you. Alright. I feel nothing for the herbo thing. It turns out being asexual means that I also don't think myself in any meaningfully sexual... I may have great tits, but those are just for me to be comfortable with. Damn. Wish I had a girl with great tits so I can be comfortable with them. Has to crack open a dictionary. Yeah, I had to crack... believe it or not, to use the pronouns thing, I had to learn in C# how a dictionary in C# works. Because, like, a dictionary is kind of like an array, but instead of having, like, you know, each array, like, entry is like, oh, here's, you know, array entry 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you instead have a dictionary where you have, like, a set of keys, which could be, in this case, a string of keys, or a key of strings, sorry, and then you have a second section, which is the subject. And that could be either another string or an integer or an object, and the object meaning like any other kind of variables. So, yeah, I had to learn C# to respect pronouns. I'm not complaining about that part, I just want to add. I'm not complaining about the part that I had to, like, learn the pronouns and what have you. You know, it was something that was, like, brought on by, like, Monday stream or something like that. Sex-based turn. Ding. I don't think anyone feels overly sexual about themselves. Would be kind of weird if you wanted to screw yourself. Oh, don't worry. There's always, what's their name? What's the user's name? What's that dude's... Narcisse. There's always Narcisse. Remember, Narcisse and most other vampires want to fuck themselves. So don't you worry. There's always someone. Alright, Yakuza 4 on the PC. I'm gonna get that running. So, ding, dong. Alright, so we plug that in. So yeah, learning C is no easy feat. C sharp. Not C or C++, C sharp. Completely different stuff. Like, here's the thing. Apparently the way they interpret is, like, C is, like, supposed to be, like, sort of one-dimensional. C++ is when you do memory shit, or when you do extra stuff, so, because it's, like, an increase. And so the reason for C sharp was that they interpreted C++ as, like, the two-dimensional, and then C sharp, it looks like, you know, a 2x2 of the pluses, which makes it three-dimensional. That was their thought process for the, for how they did the naming scheme of C, C++, and then C sharp. Because C++ means means increase by one iteration. So yeah. All right. Let me get the game going. We are loading a game. I have to go through manual saves now, so I have to be careful of that. I keep getting them confused. So yeah, that's how that's done. That's how they want it done. Alrighty then. So we're playing as this guy, some Sanji looking fella here. Also, is he wearing it? Yeah, he's wearing a jacket. I thought for a second he was wearing a really weird shirt. So yeah. Oh, actually, we can open some. Also, do I have limited inventory? Yes, I have limited inventory, so I'm gonna have to be mindful of that as I now grab all this shit. Excuse me. Really? I only found 4? Okay. Weird. I thought I found way more lockers than 4. A spicy knife. I bet you they covered shit over it. Goddess of Children amulet? And a stamina spark. Alright. Oh! Interesting. I can just, like, press the bumper and it opens all of them. That's helpful. I wonder if that was in the previous games. Any hoosies. What did I miss in the... But yeah, I had to reinstall Visual C++, then go further back to 2010 just to get the MSVRC to be installed on my computer to get some games to work. Ooh, that's a weird one. That's a weird occasion to happen. You. Yeah, you. I've been calling you for ages now. My throat's getting sore from all the shouting. Couldn't you hear me? Don't play dumb with me, or you'll be wearing your ass for a hat. Alright, chat, we're gonna need to keep an eye on some of the insults they give us. Some of them are good, some, like that one, are not worth. Ow. Yeah, let's just slap him around. Got him. That's not even the worst that happens with this computer, sadly. Oof. Oof. I feel sorry for you. It's that time. It's also that time of the year as well, where we're getting a lot of news and releases of new PC parts and what have you. So there's always this incentive of like, oh, maybe I want to make an entirely new PC. Don't do it. Don't get the. You see sushi? Where? Where do you see the sushi? But yeah, it's getting to that time of the year where, you know, AMD is like, oh, look at all these new CPUs and GPUs that are going to be coming out later on. And then Intel's just like, oh, don't go anywhere. We're going to get new CPUs. And then NVIDIA is just sort of like, hi, do you want the latest and greatest and spend excessive amounts of money for that ray tracing and to get over way more frames than the average monitor normally pulls? Look, I have a personal pet peeve with the way, like, graphics cards, like, cool, respectfully, you realize that you've not made any efforts into encouraging people to getting in brand new monitors. Many of us are still using 1080p monitors at 60 frames a second. So when you give us a new graphics card that's like, oh, you get to get up to 60 frames a second on the 4K. Consumer, you do not need these expensive graphic cards. You don't. The reason why I go for expensive graphics cards, despite the fact I'm running 1440p monitors, is because I am doing some workhorse nonsense. If you've got only one monitor and you're looking to play the latest and greatest video game, guess what? You can get away with an entry-level graphics card. You can get away with a 4060. You don't need, or, you know, the 3070s or what have you. You don't need a 4080. I know it was like a fucking meme where, because of the release of Zen Architecture 1, like you go for like the AMD 1920, and then you get the Nvidia 1080p. So then that way it was like, oh yes, this build is guaranteed to give me 1080p quality and 60 frames a second games. But you don't need to go for the latest and greatest anymore. Renee! How dare you steal my hair? When the 40 series came out, they started off over a K at release, but dropped down to 900 real. Oh yeah, no, because here's the thing, NVIDIA is not a like a bare bones hardware company anymore. NVIDIA, ever since the release of the 2000 series, ever since they've gone into DLSS, ever since they've gone into there, they have been a software and moving over towards a cloud company. Like, the cost to the cost for their graphics card is less upon, like, you know, the actual like inner workings and some shit. It's actually in order to get access to their drivers and doing the DLSS and ray tracing nonsense. Because gram for gram, if you remove the ray tracing and the DLSS, AMD is your better bang for your buck. But, you know, the reason for the up cost in NVIDIA is for the drivers, which is the same reason why, you know, whenever there is arguments about AMD versus iPhone, sure, Android is technically cheaper, because if you look at it as like a pure bare bones thing, a phone with a camera, with the way to internet to do browser, well, sure, if you look at a smartphone where it just needs to do calls, text, browse the internet, and listen to music and take photos, Android and iPhone are doing the exact same fucking thing, and Android is cheaper for it than that, but you're not going into Apple for just the bare bones. You're going into Apple, you're going into NVIDIA, you're going into Mac for the ecosystem. You're going into consoles for the ecosystem. And if you're not and if the ecosystem is not being utilized by you, there is no benefit for you paying the excess for that ecosystem. It's a waste. There is a critical issue with AMD, and it's quickly fixing, but not with the oldest, which is expected with companies. Huh? Anyway, we beat up this guy, and we get ourselves some. Alrighty, so we head over. We head down this hall. Oh no, it's the police! I have a bad feeling about this. Might as well get this over with. It's like giving hackers kernel access from what I was told. Ah, okay, so it's a kernel exploit. Believe it or not, there's a lot of CPUs where, because of the whole like regular update shit and what's mahoozy, Microsoft did not want to give people kernel access. Microsoft did not want to have retailers be able to access your kernel. And now, because we now give people access to the kernel to do all kinds of nonsense, we now get all these kernel issues. And we now have companies like Tencent over in China being like, hey, you want to play Valorant?
Did you see
We're going to need to observe your kernel. We need to observe your PC at the kernel level with our software in order to prove you're not cheating. And it's just sort of like, all right, first and foremost, that's very excessive for, like, security purposes. I don't think you need to go that far down for cheating. And number two, if you really think your cheating software is going as far down as the kernel, you are sorely mistaken. So, hello? Anyone home? Great, just the guy I wanted to see. Going somewhere, Akiyama? I mean, this is your office. Give me a break, Sugeuchi. We talked more than enough last time you hauled me in, didn't we? I'm not here to arrest you. I'm here to protect you. So try showing a little gratitude for once. What are you talking about? Just sit your ass down and I'll explain. Which is why people are panicking over easy anti-cheat being added to VR chat. Easy anti-cheat is not a kernel-level anti-cheat software. It is a poor anti-cheat software, okay? It's a very common one. It's not the same. Like, in order to have a program working at the kernel level, it has to be like one of the first things booting. That's the problem with Valorant, is that even if you weren't playing Valorant, Valorant's anti-cheat software was running on your PC and was, like, you know, actively observing it. Because the idea was that they wanted to be able to so yeah. Anything under Epic. Look, I'll look more into the easy anti-cheat shit, but I'm gonna be real with you. Like, gamers are over-exaggerant about Epic Games. And it all boils down to the same thing, which is, I don't want to have to buy video games that isn't in Steam, which is a very dumb fucking reason. Do you have to pay money to get into the Epic Games Store? No. Can you buy games from the Epic Games Store? Yes. Are they cheaper than the Steam Store? Yes. If someone's like, oh, what about my achievements? It's like, when have you cared about achievements? What does your Steam library look like right now? How many of your games are actually, you know, completing achievements? Oh, what if I want to gift games to people? When was the last time you gifted a game to someone that wasn't cheap? Because Steam decided to, like, greatly undersell. Like, this is the here's the thing about Steam. They're not, like, the monopoly of the market. They're not, like, somehow, like, strong-arming people to only come to Steam. We have competition in the PC gaming, thank Christ. But because they are doing a big portion of PC purchases and what have you, they have been dictating the price, and they are willing to do, like, some really weird fucking nonsense. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. Like, Factorio has like just set down that it's like, hey, you're never getting a discount with Factorio, which is like, you know, that's fine, that's on the publisher. But how many of those publishers have opted for like a 90% discount and what have you? Like, how the fuck have we been able to do that? Like, and this is a dumb reason, not a fan of Epic, but even I wouldn't say that. Yeah, no, look, if it's one of those cases of, like, you know, if you actually, like, because here's the thing, I will look at the Epic Games Store for games. They give you free games, like, once every 2 weeks. If the game can be purchased on Epic Games for cheaper, I will do it there. Because, let's be real, it's expensive buying video games in Australia. If I can play a video game that is going to be possibly 15% less on release date compared to Steam, oh, I'm absolutely going to do it. The currency change really screwed people over in some countries, which I know you and other people in Australia can attest to. Oh, yeah, no. Big fan of theirs because they don't slap nasty TRMs all over their games. GOG is also, like, fucking brilliant because... Cookie for Jason! Here's your cookie, Jason. Hello. Like, the thing about, like, because the thing with GOG is that, I'm gonna be real with you, I'm pretty sure CD Projekt Red is kept them alive and such like that when they release their video games on there. And what's more is, they're not responsible for, like, games with, like, you know, forever online stuff, except maybe the Telltale games, because that one asks to be connected to the Telltale server. But I think that's just for statistic nonsense of like, oh, you are part of the this percentile of users who went with this choice. So, yeah, way too many developers / publishers aren't opting to go into GOG very often, and the only ones that are like outside of the United States. We really need to have a serious like conversation in our political system. My hello didn't work? What do you mean your hello didn't work? Jason said hello, and you just wrote himbo. Anywhoosies. But yeah, there needs to be like a serious conversation in our political system and in our lobbying system about the copyright, you know, system. It's outdated. It can't work with the age of the internet. The purpose of the copyright is to stop people from like, you know, doing like to be able to do it like sort of like a very cheap parody, but no actual like, you know, change to the content and what have you on release. So it would be like someone being like, this isn't Harry Potter, this is Terry Bopper. It's like, copyright is supposed to stop that. It's supposed to stop people from, you know, just grabbing something and doing some quick changes and throwing it back out there. It was not intended as a, hey, you can't just have like a perfect copy of this thing that we've decided to put in a digital format that is meant to be easily copyable. Because back in the day, it used to be a case of, like, copyright used to cost a lot of money and a lot of resources in order to do it. But it's not anymore. The internet has made it so that the internet has made it that any soft skill has just gone so fucking cheap now. But no one is ready to have that conversation. Nobody is ready for, like, the industry to really be more like, you know, let's be real with you. Imagine if the industry just lost 30% of its worth. Just 30% gone. That would be like, we're talking an easily $1 billion just gone. Because that's what the internet has done. It has cut out so much of the distribution. It has cut out so much of the need of like, you know, resources. Like, the cost has only been increasing because of fucking inflation and then people using the money back over into marketing. But I'm gonna be real with you, the marketing that was done, like, before the internet still cost more as well. And they just never adjusted the cost of marketing for the lack of resources and the lack of supplies. Even the US has laws to protect people from being persecuted from downloading games from certain sites for personal use. Yeah, okay. That one there, Benru, about like, you know, being able to like download, that's a personal use laws exist in various states in the United States. That's a weird, okay. Here's the thing. If you have the original copy, I think it's okay, you can do as many like duplications as you want, but I don't think you can just be like, hey, I don't own this game, I'm gonna download this game. Or, hey, I want to see this movie, I don't own this movie, and download. Like, that doesn't happen. Look at the emulations that got snapped out of existence. Yeah, so this is where we start getting into the gray area of things. Because here's the thing, it's like there is a difference between emulation of hardware versus like emulation of like a program. Or of a video game in an emulation software. Moving on. You sure took your sweet time coming back here. What kind of trouble have you been getting yourself into? Personal use is when it uses copyright references such as learning or entertainment. People should use it right. However, an issue arises when the user wants to make a copy of the copyrighted work. Interesting. I'm gonna be real with you. That would be that's gonna be some very interesting court proceedings. Because what that would essentially mean is that anyone that's like chasing after like the end user of being like, hey, you can't have Moana on your like Plex server, and then they're just gonna have to turn around and go, why not? It's for personal use, and they're like, it's a copyright infringement. It's like, I think what happens there is that if there's evidence showing that it's like can't copy anything really, but there isn't really a precedent. Yeah. So I think here's the problem: is that like most cases of like, oh, copyright infringement and what have you, they do rescind. Like another example is the movie worlds in VR chat. Okay, that is a terrible example, Xerix. Because here's the thing. VR chat is not responsible for the source of those. So here's the thing. This is what's called safe harbor laws in the United States. Entirely different. So VR chat doesn't get persecuted for the copywritten material because they're not hosting the copywritten material. They're just like this is the gray zone. This is the gray zone. This is why emulation isn't illegal, but emulating a game you don't own is. It's just a medium. The VR chat world is just a medium, much like how Google Chrome is a medium and Opera GX and what have you. Ad blockers are a medium. Like, it isn't illegal to have an ad blocker despite however much work Google Chrome is using trying to remove, like, ad blockers. Third-party websites hosting, it's why we have to click the slider thing in VR. Exactly. So, moving on. Moving on. What kind of trouble have you been getting yourself into? Trust me, I'm too exhausted for trouble. Crazy, I know, but some of us take a break from our regularly scheduled bullshit every now and then. So, what do you want? Notice the officers outside? You know, I hadn't before, but now that you mention it, I vaguely recall one or two boys in blue out there. Well, get used to them, wise guy. You're going under 24-hour surveillance for the next few days. Huh? What for? To keep you safe, dimwit. You and your shop. The Shibata family's after you, aren't they? You said so yourself back at the precinct. That doesn't mean I need your watchdogs lording over me. Just spare me the bullshit, alright? You know who cleans up the mess you make? Us. You think babysitting a worthless crook like you is my idea of a good time? Come on, Suguichi. Doesn't matter either way now. This dumpster fire is way bigger than a half-wit slime ball like you. What do you mean? The shooting 2 days ago? Shit's about to hit the fan. This fan got a name? Isayo Tatsurogai, captain of the Uno Saiwa clan. He started making waves. Stop it!
今回の金村工業が起こした一件、それで手打ちにしてもらえませんでしょうか。
Oh my goodness, who could forget Daigo Dojima? Me. I forgot Daigo Dojima. I knew he was Dojima, I forgot he was Daigo, but I knew him as the 6th chairman.
この金は一体何ですか、堂島会長。
Captain of the Ueno Saiwa clan.
桂木さん、登場会としては今回の騒動、これ以上大ごとにはしたくない。それに登場会と上野清和会は2代目時代から25年来の親戚関係がある。ここはお互い事を荒立てないのが得策かと。
なるほど。堂島会長は枝同士の喧嘩にはこのくらいの金があれば十分だと。
いや、そんなつもりはありません。確かに騒動を起こした金村工業は直系柴田組傘下の枝組織かもしれませんが、上野清和会は違う。登場会と同格の親戚です。その金はあくまで今回の騒動の迷惑料だと思ってください。
同格ね。
その額ではご不満ですか。わかりました。 入れ。
I have no idea who that is. Shibata family. Ah, cool. Oh, he's missing a finger!
今回の金村の一件、
So you can't see it, but
本当に申し訳ありませんでした。
he's missing a pinky. And that's a recent injury. I bet you it's in the cloth. He's done a great disservice, and this is payment.
柴田さんでしたっけ？
はい。
東上会の直系の親分さんともあろうお方が、都内の一勢力でしかない組の若頭にそんなに頭割いちゃいけませんよ。それにね、柴田さん、今の時代わざわざ痛い思いしなくてもけじめの取り方は他にもいろいろあるでしょう。東上会さんとうちは親戚関係なんですから。
Interesting phrasing there.
桂木さん、どういう意味ですか？
堂島会長。
Alright, so the cutting of the pinky thingamajiggy. So that's a Yakuza thing where it's usually for you've done a great, like, you know, dishonor, but it's not, and it's, you know, sort of the classical movement, like when anywho's, that isn't something that you just go, you know, oh, it's a thing of the past. That has existed like for a long fucking time. That's not something you throw away. It's the similar sort of thing as, like, you know, you don't remove like ceremony and what have you. That's why we still have all kinds of nonsense for when the king gets on a new throne. Like, for him to be like, oh, it's an old relic kind of thing. It's like, here's what that guy is saying. It is a from what to me it sounds like a backhanded compliment where he's like, oh, this is part of the old world. We should be part of the new one. It's either that or seppuku. I don't know if seppuku is something that would be done in the Yakuza, but possibly. I haven't seen it done in a film, so.
今回の騒動、上野清和会としては、今までの親戚関係もある以上、抗争沙汰にするつもりは毛頭ありません。病床に伏しているうちの総長、上野義治も思いは同じです。
桂木さん。
だが、この金と指で全てがチャラというわけにもいかないでしょう。
Hi, Dekus.
少なくともうちの組員たちは納得しないと思いますよ。
He's making a play for territory.
堂島会長、今回の騒動で殺された伊原の役職をご存知ですか？若頭補佐です。ちょうどあの事件のあった日に就任していたんですよ。
若頭補佐？
そうです。あなた方がチンピラ同士の喧嘩くらいに思っていたこの騒動、実は上野清和としては幹部組員を失うというとんでもない被害を受けているんですよ。正直言いましょう。
He wants a family.
若頭補佐を殺された代償として。
He either wants territory or he wants family.
いや、だがそれは。
おっしゃりたいことはわかります。先ほどは同格だと言ったものの、所詮は東上会と上野清和会では格が違うだろうと。でもね、うちの組員はそれじゃ納得しないんですよ。表面上東上会とうちは対等な関係のはずですからね。
桂木さん、どうすれば納得してもらえるんですか？
そうですね。うちの伊原を殺した犯人新井宏明の首、それが無理ならあの真島さんが今やっている例の事業の経営権をいただきたい。
Oh. Do you really think you're gonna get Majima's business?
カムロ町ヒルズの経営権が欲しいと。
はい。
Where is Majima in this conversation? Where the fuck is he? I didn't see his eye patch in the
飲
crowd.
めるわけがない。
なぜですか？
あの事業は10億20億とかいう規模の話じゃない。数千億規模の案件だ。
Hi, little Incineroar. Also, congratulations, Dekiss, on turning 39.
人一人の命の代償としては大きすぎる。
堂島会長、勘違いしないでください。
We're in the middle of a cutscene, little Incineroar.
金が欲しいわけじゃありません。これは極道と
They
して
said they're not interested in money, they're interested in Yakuza honor.
堂島会長、あなたは筋の通った
Interesting,
方だと聞い
considering
てま
he's
す。
like done the,
だか
you
ら
know,
こ
not
そ
caring about the
私
finger,
の立
but
場も理
caring
解して
about
もらえ
honor.
ませ
It's
ん
like
でしょ
that's
う
a
か。
hypocritical, if I say so
さっきも言いましたが、
myself.
うちとしてはあの新井という男の首があれば十分です。それがあれば下の連中も納得するでしょう。だが万が一新井の首が取れなかった場合、
Excuse me. Excuse me.
その時は伊原と同格の人間を差し出してもらうしかないんですよ。
Yeah, little Incineroar is a bit weird. He's like
そ
that.
う、真島さんです。柏木さんの死後、白鵬会や錦山組といった若頭補佐はなくなってしまった。あの浜崎組も破門。となると自動的に真島さんくらいしか伊原の代償となりうる人がいないんですよ。だがさすがに私も伊原の代わりに真島さんの首を差し出せとまでは言うつもりはありません。ですからあのビルの建設と経営の権利さえいただければ、それでうちの組員を納得させられます。よくお考えの
You
上、
think their tattoos are
ご
done with
決
modern
断く
tattoo
ださい。
guns, you'd only be half right. While a lot of them do, traditional Japanese is very similar to Polynesian designs where it is enforced in skin rapid taps. Yeah, I am familiar with that one. I am familiar with, like, it is still, like, that classical style and what have you. It's not with a gun. So, it's a lot slower. But yeah, please don't shove a hot dog in my ass. I'm trying to lose weight. That about sums it up. Huh? And the end result? The Tojo, particularly Shibata's crew, are scrambling to track Arai down before the cops or the Ua no Saiwa get their claws on him. Too bad nobody's got a clue where he is. We've been keeping an eye on the people he's buddy-buddy with, hoping he'll try and make contact. Which lands us in the here and now. So that's why you've been hounding me and Kaido. Pretty much. So, we're going to be keeping this dump you call an office under our thumb for a while. Which means no waltzing around town like it's business as usual. Got that? Noted. Good. I'm out of here. Just a second there, Suichi. What now? You're in criminal investigation, right? Why go out of your way to poke your nose into this? I thought organized crime is usually in charge of this kind of stuff. That's none of your damn business. Sorry, just curious. Thought it, though if you ask me, I bet you're hoping to score enough brownie points to finally bag that nice fat promotion from HQ. You shut your damn mouth! I said stay out of it! Alright, forget I said anything. Does make me think, though. What am I even doing here anymore? Suguichi-san? Forget it. Just thinking out loud for a second there. You see a lot of shit go down when you've been on the force almost 3 decades. Hey, looks like you got a customer. Oh, hey, it's What's-a-Mahoozies. Lily. Oh, I've been waiting for you. Please, sit. Isn't just money and condos. People died for that property. To give that away would be a huge dishonor, and I think the guy just wants to smear the Tojo clan. Oh, abso-fucking-lutely. What's more is they lost a family head there. as well at the Kamurocho Hills. All kinds of nonsense have been going off at Kamurocho Hills. So, thanks for stopping by. No, I should be thanking you. If you say so. Now, you're sure you want to do this? Yes. I have nowhere else to turn. Whatever the test, I'm prepared to take it. Great. Then let's get started. Okay. You ready to go? Go? Where? Out on the town. The first part of the test is a date with yours truly. A date? Let's see. How about we start by buying you a nice new dress? Oh, and maybe a necklace or two. Shopping? You know I can't afford that right now. What kind of guy makes his date foot the bill? Come on, it's my treat. Huh? Sorry, but this is part of the test. We need to make you as stunning as possible. You said you'd do whatever it took, right? That's right. Great. Shall we then? You ready? Where would you like to start? Your dress or your accessories? I don't mind either, but are you sure about this? I feel bad having you buy so much for me. It's nothing. Honestly, like I said before, we need to make you absolutely stunning. Now, let's go. Oh my gosh, she's not very fast, is she? Also, where did these people all of a sudden come from? You there, interested in knowing more about the Kamurocho Underground? Well, normal people know about the parking lots in the underground malls. That's just common knowledge here in Kamurocho. But they're just amateurs, little league players at best. The big league players know the whole deal, from the sewers to the underground railway. Contains, yep, cool. You'll be surprised just how deep the underground goes. Cool. Oop. Where did the thingy-majiggy go? Oh, there it is. E4, nice. Oh hey, more lockers. Oh, okay. No idea what the blue fox is. Oh, I know what a protective amulet is. Do they have game stores in this game? I don't think so. A gold-plated dish. Alrighty. No, do not return the title screen. Alright. A set of clubs for maximum control. Oh, nice. That's actually pretty lucky. Offers a small protection against harm. Equipped with a gun belt. Apparently can stop enemy attacks. Yeah, right. Its value is pretty low. Hi there, Vovanda. I think it's about time I got a new dress. Any suggestions? How about something in yellow? I don't think you have anything yellow. Don't know if you call it good thinking, I just remember how much you like Indian curry. Oh, okay, we gotta go in here. We gotta go into Milestone. Half a leg. Wait, since you're in a mall thingy, the thought crossed your mind. Fair enough. Fair enough, Caesar. Milestone's one of my favorite dress shops. I'm sure they'll have something here that suits you. All right. Good to see you, Akiyama-san. Hey there. I'm looking for a nice new dress for this girl here. Think you could help me pick something out for her? Of course, sir. Let's see. What do you think of these? Ooh, halter that amplifies its wearer's sexiness. The elegant body line, sophisticated color are sure to turn heads. Let's go for a long halter. Thank you very much. That dress is absolutely perfect for you, if you don't mind me saying. You can send the bill over to my secretary, Hana-chan. Sorry for the trouble. It's no trouble at all, sir. We'll do just that. Please come again soon. That takes care of the next dress. Next comes the accessories. Let's pay a visit to La Marchi, shall we? Okay.
ちょっと。
Oh, too far.
ちょっと。
Ah, there you are. Kamurocho Underground Locker Key A1. Nice. Alright, so now we gotta head upstairs to La Merche. Out of the way! Out of the way! La Marche. Let's buy some accessories here. I'll find something that looks good on you. Okay. Welcome, Akiyama-san. Looking for something in particular? I would like... the chain necklace, please. Nothing too fancy. We don't need extra elegance when we're already wearing elegance. We can... You go for the elegant dress, and then you go for a modest accessory. Yeah, that's all. You can send the bill over to my secretary, Hana-chan. Sorry for the trouble. No trouble at all, sir. Let me walk you to the door. Thank you, sir. We hope to see you again soon. Excuse me. Excuse me. That just leaves your hair, makeup, and nails. You mind going it alone from here? All that will probably take a while. Just tell him Akiyama-san said to put it on Sky Finance's tabs. Thank you. Meet me over at Elise's once you're done. It's right across the street from the Millennium Tower. I'll be waiting for you. Okay. Bam. 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 Wait, is the Champion District gone? Apparently you can make an avatar that looks just like me, then use it to chat with people. It's really cute. Hang out even if it's just in the Bodhi. What the fuck are they talking? It's not important. Amoe Batar. You okay, dude? What's the matter? You're sweating like crazy. I was gonna buy some stomach medicine from that drugstore, but I can't move another step or else. Oh. Yikes. Don't move. I'll go buy some for you. Just hang in there, okay? Well, feeling better? I think I'm over the worst of it. I guess it wasn't such a good idea to hit 20 yakiniku restaurants in a single day. Really? 20 of them? You must really love yakiniku.
Yeah.
Oh, no. It's my job. Sorry, I should have introduced myself earlier. I'm Ajikawa of the Michelin Guide Corporation. This is a Michelin star guy. You should not be telling us this nonsense. The Michelin star reviewers is supposed to be like totally secretive and shit. We're not supposed to know that this guy is part of the Michelin star guide collection. I truly appreciate you stepping in to helping upon seeing me squirm like that. Thanks a million. It was nothing. The name's Akiyama. I'm a moneylender here in Kamurocho. Michelle Guide. Isn't that the company that publishes restaurant guidebooks over in Europe? That's right. And now we'd like to introduce the best of Kamurocho in a Japanese edition of our legendary guidebook. I'm here doing research. But this place just has too many restaurants to try and find the hidden gems. Can you really judge these places properly when you eat so much at once? Sure, they say an empty stomach is the best condiment, but empty or full hardly matters to us pros when it comes to reviewing a given dish. Ah, I see. So, simply knowing a lot about food isn't enough, huh? Impressive. Thank you very much. I'm embarrassed to admit, however, that Japanese food isn't my area of expertise. For days now, I've been wandering blindly from restaurant to restaurant. It just proves I need a local to point me in the right direction. Akiyama-san, you said you worked in finance here in Kamurocho. You must know all kinds of high-end restaurants in the area then, yes? Well, when it comes to spending money on food, I'm not exactly what you would call frugal. Excellent! I've been searching for someone like you. Would you be so kind as to tell me about some of the better restaurants you know? I'll gladly compensate you for your time, of course. I don't see why not. There must have been some reason I stopped to help you, so sure, I can show you some places. Really? Thank you so much! Could you first tell me about your favorite yakiniku restaurant then? And if you could tell me which of their dishes has the most mouth-watering texture, and what their most unique offo dish is, that would be great. Some pretty specific requests you've got there. Many of our readers consider themselves foodies. They prefer selections they are not only tasty, but that make for good conversation as well. Sounds rough. Oh, there goes my stomach again. I'll rest for a bit at a bar, I know. At least until my stomach settles. I'm terribly sorry, but could you come to Earth Angel in the Champion District once you've done gathering restaurant info? Oh, sure. Hope you feel better. So, mouth-watering texture and a unique offal dish at my favorite yakiniku restaurant, right? That's right. Good luck, and thank you. My favorite yakiniku joint, huh? Definitely that one Hana likes so much. Oh, look at this slow man. Look at him. Slow. Alright, where was I going? Was it Heat? No, it wasn't explicitly there. Elise. Hey! Is Lily-chan here yet? She's waiting in the back room, sir. Right this way. Okay, let's get started. Yes, let's. First, let's get you changed into an outfit that brings out the best of your natural beauty. Don't worry, I'll guarantee you'll look great. So chic and mature charm. Oh my goodness, I could not tell who that was before. Such a difference. Although she do look good. She do look refined and cute. Her looks, C. Her smarts, B. And her charisma, B. 2B. I'm honestly surprised we haven't gotten an entire game about Karabé bars. We probably have, but people have just been way too horny to, like, do a good one without it being, like, sex appeal and such. And because of that, we don't get too much interest into it because of the lack of sex or the complexities to get to the sex.
Did you see it?
いいね。
Yes.
やっぱり俺の目に悔いはなかったか。
He's swooning.
え、
He's
なんでもない。
swooning.
さあ、今からテスト2を始めようか。
Alright, part 2. You ready? Yes. Good. Now, I want you to entertain me as if I were a customer. A customer? That's right. You've just been hired as a hostess after all. You're gonna be the #1 girl here. Ah. Me? #1? But why? Well, as it turns out, I own the place. We managed to stay in the black, but in this economy, well, we're basically treading water. Oh, and that's where you come in. A new face to freshen up our lineup could really boost sales. I see, yeah. I understand the test, but I'm not sure I can reach #1. That's so. Then I guess you don't need the 100 million. What? We haven't even started, and you're already deciding you can't do it? We should just call the whole thing off. No. I'll do it. Please. That's the spirit. And don't worry, you're #1 material exactly as you are. Speaking of, how do you determine a hostess's rank? Is it by sales? You got it. Starting today, you'll have 3 days to make 3 million yen. 3 million? In 3 days? Do that and you pass the test. I'll loan you the 100 million, yeah. No collateral, no guarantor. And if you can't do it, we'll just pretend this never happened. Like we discussed earlier.
300万ですね。
はい。
300万稼げば本当に1億貸してもらえるんですね。
はい。
So she needs to make
わかりまし
300,000.
た。やってみます。
She needs to make about $300,000 or $30,000 or
それでは
I can't
ビジ
remember
ネスの
how much
話は
the
ここまでにしま
currency
しょう。
from yen to US is.
ここからは俺のプライベートとして楽しませてもらいます。
え？
さっき言ったじゃない。今から俺に接客してもらうって。
でも秋山さんはオーナーじゃ。
Yeah, but he wants the
オーナーっつって
smoochy
も
time.
自分の店で遊んじゃダメって決まりがあるわけじゃないでしょ。
Of course he wants to unwind
今
his
は
own
ただのお
club.
客さん。つまり俺が君の最初の客ってわけ。そう、その笑顔。いいね。さあ、それじゃあ今日は楽しませてもらえますか。
わかりました。
Ah,
それじゃあお客
sorry, I
様、
just need to take my socks
お飲
off.
み物は何になさいますか？
そうだね。
Still a bit fatty if I'm having like my socks do that little thing where it like crinches enough of my ankle where there's like a dent in it between where the fat was and where the fat isn't. Well, I should probably get going. Get some other things to take care of. You know how it is. Leaving already? But we only just got started. Sorry, can't have the owner keeping his future #1 all to himself. It's bad for business. Of course. What do you say we meet up after your shift? Are you asking me out on another date? If you want me to be. Okay then. It's a date. Great. We'll reconvene in Theatre Square. See you there. Okay. You're on. We haven't got. Oh yeah, I already read that thingy. Oh! Oh! I forgot to give a proper happy birthday to Dekiss. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dekiss. Happy birthday to you. There you go. Bam. Boom. Alright. Huh? Who the fuck are you? What's with him? He better not be stalking my girls. Hey, what are you doing? Whoa! Nothing. You were sneaking a look at something. Sneaking a look? No, I was just waiting for somebody. For who? There she is. Who? You mean Mickey? Oh, do you know her? Sure. I own this place. What? And who might you be? Stalker, perhaps? No, nothing like that. I just wanted to see her. Are you one of her customers? Uh-huh. Why not just go into the club then? Well, the thing is... What? I've spent more than 5 million yen in here over the last 2 years, and it looks like my money's finally run out. 5 million yen? That's right. I was this close to winning her over, too. If 5 million yen wasn't enough, I think it might be time to call it quits. I just know I could do it if I had another million. What's your name? Tanguchi. I'm Akima's. In addition to this club, I also run a loan office called Sky Finance. Yeah? Look, the way things are now, you've got a snowball's chance in hell of going out with Mickey. Huh? Even with another million yen? Oh, even with another million yen. Unless you make some changes, you could see her 10 more times and still get absolutely nothing. Great. Besides, you need more than just money to woo a woman. First, you have to work on your look. Then comes building up your personal brand of charm. Yes! Abso-fucking-lutely. Yes! Look at that. This advice. Hang on a second. So, you need to like work on. You don't use money. You gotta work on your look, and then you gotta work on your your personal charm. How dare you, D's nuts me set. You gotta work on. You got 2 things, okay? You gotta make yourself desirable, and then you gotta find out what the personal charm is. You know why McDonald's is like the most popular restaurant? It's because they don't do anything badly. They're not great at something, but they don't do anything badly. So for you need to try and get to a little bit of a baseline. You need to you got to improve your mannerisms, you got to improve your looks, you got to improve your thesaurus and what have you. You got to get a baseline of yourself. You need to get something that just, nothing is explicitly a weakness for you. And then you find the brand. You find something that you're good at. Something that is unique to you that you would like to sell. Because here's the thing. No woman is interested in a man only for his money. There's far richer men out there than what you will ever accomplish. Don't be the restaurant that's selling hamburgers in the town with all the other hamburgers. Be the guy that sells hot dogs in a place with hamburgers. They've destroyed their look. Their restaurants look like prisons now. Oh, it's not because they look like prisons. It's because, fun fact, businesses don't like sticking around as like this, overt level of like a particular building. Because even though McDonald's is like an owner of a lot of properties and what have you, franchisees and what have you, especially those in like Australia and what have you, they will normally go from like one kind of business to another. So rather than spending a lot of money in having to like update the look of a building in order to fit the aesthetic, people just go for generic. They just remove like the cheapest iconography and what have you and get to replace with something else. Remember back in the day when you could tell when a place was a Pizza Hut or a Sizzlers? Remember those? Believe it or not, like, that actually drove down foot traffic to places that were not a Sizzlers or a Pizza Hut. So if you wanted a place to succeed after you got rid of the Pizza Hut or what have you in your building, and it was shaped like a Pizza Hut, the only other way it would be successful is if it became a Pizza Hut again, which is not what you want. Which is why a lot of people, when they make their buildings and what have you, especially if they want to transition from one kind of franchise to another, go for generic buildings. Brand in the physical realm is dead. We like the interpretation of a brand. We don't like the physical manifestation of a brand. But how do I do all that? Meet me in front of Millennium Tower later. I'll give you a little advice. You do that for me? Sure. Wouldn't be much of an owner if I didn't step in to help such a loyal customer. Thank you very much. Oh, and the next time we meet, come all decked out in your lady killer vest. Lady killer? You know, the clothes you'd wear if you had the chance to go out on a date with Nikki. I want to get a feel for your sense of style. Oh, okay. I will. I'll see you later. And then, thanks again. So, here's the thing. Also, second thing about the McDonald's and what have you. We're not going to McDonald's for the playpen. We're going to McDonald's because of what they can do in the kitchen. And the kitchens aren't getting bigger. Moshi Moshi. Akuma-san, this is Tanuma from Elise. Lily-san just went home and I finished totaling her sales for today. Great. Thanks. How'd she go? Just over 500,000 yen. That's amazing considering it's only her first day. Pretty impressive, yeah. She's gotta have to step up her game if she actually wants to pass. True. Maybe you could drop in during her next shift. It might help having you there to give her some pointers, Akira-san. Not a bad idea, sure. Why not? Thank you, sir. See you then. Also, how dare you see it? What, more sushi? Or are you talking about the Dragon Hunter? Oh, we missed it. The Dragon Hunter. Sorry I'm late. Oh, no worries at all. Nice work today, by the way. Getting used to it? Yes, but... But what? I'm a little worried about how much I made today. It didn't feel like very much. Do you want to know the actual number? If you don't mind, yes, I would. Alright, here goes. Your total for today came out to... 500,000 yen. That's... it? Why the long face? That's pretty dang impressive. No, I know, but that still leaves another 2.5 million in only 2 days. Don't worry. Today was all about settling into the job. And hey, you didn't even have a full shift. I suppose. Seriously, you'll be fine. I'm sure of it. What's so funny? You're a very interesting man, Akiyama-san. Yeah? You say this is a test, but now here you are telling me everything's going to be fine. What's wrong with that? It's not like I want you to fail or anything. Don't you? Of course not. I want nothing more than to lend you that money. It might be a test, but I've been hoping you'd succeed from the bottom of my heart. Akiyama-san. Plus, I know you're not going to just take failure lying down. Not with that much money on the line. Yes, you're right. I can do this. That's more like it. Just try not to stress too much, yeah? Keeping cool is half the battle. Okay. Now, how about we enjoy this date? Anywhere special you would like to go? Can I ask you something first? Why are you being so nice to me? Well, because you're worth it. I'm not sure I understand. This isn't part of the test, is it? Not exactly, but hey, remember the date we were on earlier? Let's just call this part 2. So it is part of the test then. And here I was, ready to join you on an actual date. Look, it doesn't matter what it is. Just keep me company for a little while, okay? Now that's settled, where do you want to go? Your pick. I get to choose? Anywhere you want. Don't worry if you don't think of a place, though. I have plenty of spots we can stroll into if need be. Oh, well, there's actually is somewhere I'd like to go. You sure you don't mind? Of course not. So, where to? A bar I've heard about over in the Champion District. I think I'll recognize it once we get there. Yeah? Alright then, let's go. Alrighty, we gotta head to the Champion District.
ちょっと
Yeah. Oh, good news, chat. I am still losing weight. Also, I heard it. I heard the bing. I heard the ting. I heard the little notification noise. Where is it?
ちょっと
Where is the sound? There you are. Bam. There's something there. Taihei Boulevard key I3. Nice. Okay, we got more keys. Up the scoop. Hello. And another key. An underground key, J1. Oh my goodness, there's gonna be so many keys. Next thing you know, I'm gonna get both the, above ground and underground, and then they're gonna be like, oh, did you know there's some rooftop keys you can get? I bet you it's gonna do that to me. Alrighty, new doors. Modified lighter. Cool. And E4. A gravity converter? The fuck is a gravity converter? The instructions call this thing a gravity converter prototype. Could this be real? You can't use it here. Cool. What bullshit. I am gonna put it into an item box. So I'm gonna put you away, you away, you away, you away, you away, you away, you away. There we go. I'll get more slots at some point. I'm certain of it. But yeah, anywhoosies, back to my dieting. I have been following an app for managing how much food I eat in a day, and I'm gonna be real with you, I'm already feeling an effect from it because I'll be real with you. There have been days where I'm because I'm gonna be real. Before I did the calorie counting stuff, I would most certainly. Oh, hang on. Oh, there it is, right there. I'll be real with you. There would have been days if I'm working from home where I'm I'll just order in a meal or something like that. And I was aware I was doing that. I was aware that if I was working from home, I probably just ordered a meal or something like that, and I would just make it a big meal so I didn't eat dinner or anything like that. But so far, the Tuesdays, I have been, the last 2 Tuesdays I went through since keeping an eye on my diet, I have not done that. I've not ordered in a meal on the Tuesdays, on my work from home days or something or rather. And what's more is, I've actually learned the portion sizes for snacking. You know Pringles? It's 25 grams for a snack. And that's not the entire can or anything like that. Hang on a second. How many Pringles? Wait, how many grams is a Pringle? How many grams is a Pringle? Am I grabbing the right number of Pringles? I accidentally wrote ho, but how much does a Pringle weigh? Here we go. On average, a single Pringle chip weighs about 0.05 ounces or 1.42 grams. However, the weight can vary slightly depending on the flavor and the thickness of the chip. So, 2 grams. So it's 2 grams for a what's-my-hoozy chip. Where is it? Where is it? Ah, just snap my neck, why don't I? So yeah, so let me just go to the food log thingy-majiggy and check out the dinner section. So yeah, so maybe not 2? So wait, I had like... Yeah, okay, hang on a sec. I only had 1 serving of the sour cream chips. There we go. So yeah, so, like, a snack of chips is 25 grams. Which means is like, that's like 10 to 15, Pringle chips. Ideally less than 15 Pringle chips, but, you know, I'm gonna be real with you. When you eat the Pringle chips slowly, they feel more filling. You notice how it's really peaceful lately? That's all me. I've been working hard for it, got it? So how about a gratitude fee? What a gratitude fee, you ask? Ha! It could be anything, stupid. But anyway, why don't you just give me all your money to start? Oh, don't do this. Don't do this to me in front of the lady. Is it a pack or in a can? It's in a can. So, a single serving, so a serving of Pringles is approximately 25 grams. So, and like one of the single serve cans actually gives you like 45 grams, so that's 2 servings. There we go. So, 200 grams / 7 ounces in the UK or in the US. It's 156. Wait, what? Okay, I think we're getting our math mixed up. So you don't eat the entire can. You go for a serving, which is approximately 25 grams. And a single Pringle chip weighs 2 grams. So there's, you know, more than 1 serving in a can of Pringles. Yay, 3,000. Huh. Is it somewhere in there? Yeah, I think so. Though, I don't remember this building being here before. Really? It's been around at least as long as I have. Probably way longer. Do you think we could head inside? I'd like to see it for myself if you don't mind. He was thinking of the whole thing. Yeah, no, it's, portion. You wanna portion that out. So yeah, but here's the thing, is that I thought, when I was gonna do the calorie counting, I thought I was just gonna have to cut out Pringle chips, or, Uncle Toby's Chewies. You know, I thought I had to, like, cut out, like, nearly all the snacks. All the snacky shit. But turns out, like, they're not an excessive amount of calories. You just need to be, like, mindful of how much you eat. Which I think, you know, good for me. I just need to be careful not to eat an entire can of Pringles, which I have not done yet. And so far, I've been losing weight. I am now down, like last week, the start of last week, I was like 148 kilos. Now I'm like 143 kilos right now. I'm working my way down back to where I was before, like, June, July, when I was in the 130s range. I want to try and get down to, like, 100 or 120 before Christmas. I want to aim to try and get, you know, low. Wait, I do know this building. It really brings back memories being up here. Yeah? Though, back then it was one of the taller buildings in the area. It really stood out. I probably didn't recognize it because of how small it seemed in comparison nowadays. Do you used to come here around a lot? I lived here, yes. Honestly, it feels like that was a lifetime ago. Huh. Those were the days. Sure, I was always broke and lived in a tiny apartment, but life was good. Lily, tell me something. Why are men always so busy looking upward? I'm sorry? They work themselves to death for that one big break, and they end up forgetting the girl by their side in the process. I suppose a guy in my line of work is kind of biased, but whether it's family or the one you love, it's tough to make anyone happy without money. Men tend to take that responsibility pretty seriously. We're all desperate to claw our way up to someplace stable. That's my theory, anyway. I'd be fine without all that. If things had just stayed the same, well, I would have been the happiest girl in the world. So you can't stand how money changes people, yet you still came to me for a loan. Strange, isn't it? I never really cared about it before, and now I need it more than anything. Life's good at throwing you curveballs like that. Makes you wonder, though, why does money make the world go round anyway?
金で人が幸せになれるんだったら、俺が君を幸せにできるのかな。
え？
Oh, is she? Okay, I'm gonna be real with you, Yakuza. I've seen you do bread. I've seen you do food. You know how to do good animation. You could have made that kiss better. Holy, like, come on, man.
どうして避けなかったの？
どうしてだろう。
My goodness, dude. You're really doing a conflict here by doing the loaning.
あなたならいいかなって思っちゃった。
It's difficult some days.
あなたはどうしてキスしたの？
なんでだろう。でも5年ぶりだよ。こんな気持ちになったのは。
別れた恋人の話？
ああ。でも振られちゃった。
本当に？どうして？
さあ、あの頃俺にお金がなかったからかな。
おいおい、見せつけてくれるじゃねえか。俺たちにもサービスしてくれやねえじゃ。
また柴田組か。あんたらも懲りないね。
あ？なめた口聞いてんじゃねえぞ。柴田のこと分かってて喧嘩売ろってのか。
そうだそうだ。柴田組のことならよく知ってますよ。東上会の直系って肩書き振りかざしながらも二次団体の中じゃ常に末席に位置する万年窓際族だ。
なんだとこのガキが。予定にはなかったが構わねえ。ぶっ殺してやる。
Alrighty then. The Shibata family hitman. No, you fucking don't. Give me that gun. Get moving, get moving. There we go. I love how I'm just hitting him with like the fucking like the cross guard and the back of the hilt. I'm just going like bam, bong, bong, rather than like, you know, using it as a fucking sword. Better get out of here before more show up. Come on. Phew. We should be safe here. Sorry you got dragged into that. It's been an interesting couple of days. It's okay. Hey, are you alright? You're not hurt, are you? No, I'm fine. Much as I hate to say it, we should probably call it a night. I'd hate to run into more of them. You're probably right. Well, do your best tomorrow, alright? I'll swing by and check in on you if I can. Okay. Good night, Akiyama-san. I'm pretty sure those guys in the background were pissing. Yay! Chapter 4 completed! Oh my goodness. That one felt like a bit longer than normal. March 4th. Am I meant to be keeping an eye on these dates? So, that's why the Shibata family's been on our asses all this time. Yep. And how are things on your end? Any luck tracking down Araya-san? Not in the slightest. Not yet. I see. Tojo HQ's got the entire clan looking for him, though. I'm sure it won't be long before they find him. They'll serve him up to those Ueno bastards on a silver platter if we don't do something fast. Yeah, things aren't looking so hot. I can't just sit on my ass and wait. I gotta go find him. At least before HQ does, and I have to know the truth. I mean, he'd never do shit like this without a good reason. Listen, Kido-chan, let's say Arai-san does have a reason. How exactly are you planning to explain that to Tojo Clan brass? Huh? What do you mean? Remember, the relationship with the Ueno-sawa has gone sour. But all that gets swept under the rug if they hand over Araya-san. The Tojo doesn't really give a damn why he did what he did, or even if he did it at all. The only thing that matters is that he's their way out. So what, he's just gonna be their sacrifice? Pretty much. But look, Araya-san's a smart guy. He knows this isn't about whether or not he can prove his innocence. That's why he's gone into hiding. So, what do we do? Take it. Huh? What's this for? This is the only way I can help now. Find Araya-san before the Tojo clan or police do. We can worry about the rest then. But, Akiyama-san, use whatever money you need to track him down. I've got other work to do, and you're the only person I can count on. Akiyama-san, why are you doing all this? Let's just say it's an investment. Arya-san's worth it. I don't get it. Why do you care so much about Arianaki anyway? Does it really matter? Yeah, actually, it does. I'm looking for him because I want answers. And I'm not taking this cash until you tell me what you're up to. Please. I need to know. Fine.
実は昔俺さ新井さんに助けられたことがあったんだわ。
え、秋山さんが新井の兄貴に？
ああ。ところでお前、俺が昔ホームレスだったって話は知ってるか？
まあ噂程度に聞いたくらいですが、本当だったんですか？
実は俺ホームレスになる前な、東都銀行通銀行で働く普通のサラリーマンだったんだ。
秋山さんが銀行員？
ああ、今から5年くらい前の話だ。6年くらい前までの俺の人生は綺麗な階段を汗一つかかずに登るような順調なものだった。東都大の法学部を卒業、東都銀行に入社。俺は金融工学のプロフェッショナルとしてエリート街道を歩み始めた。
じゃあどうしてホームレスなんかに？
クビになったんだよ。2005年の初めにな。
クビ？なんかやらかしたんですか？
業務上横領。 つまり会社の金をこっそり盗む犯罪だ。
どうしてそんなこと？
知らねえよ。だって俺は横領なんかしてねえんだからさ。
は？どういうことで
He
す
was
か？
the fall
はめられた
guy.
んだよ、会社にな。いきなり業務上横領の疑いをかけられて懲戒免職ってやつだ。
そんなバカな。
まあ普通そう思うわな。俺も何かの間違いだと思ってた。だが現実は違った。俺が当時担当していたとある会社の口座にあった100万円がある日突然俺の個人口座に振り込まれていたんだ。
それでクビですか？
ああ、何を言っても無駄だった。銀行は俺を告訴しないことを条件に一方的に俺を懲戒免職処分とした。その後俺は真相を探った。それまでに貯めた金を使い方々手を尽くして調べ回った。でも結局分からずじまい。そのうち貯金も尽きてカムロ町で路上生活を始めたんだ。
それでホームレスですか？
金なんて簡単に増やせるって思ってたのにさ。元手と信用がなければ何にもできないんだよ。所詮俺は他人の金で遊んでいただけだったんだって、その時初めて分かったんだ。
じゃあどうやって金貸しなんてやれるほどの大金手に入れたんですか？
拾ったんだよ。
は？
だからさ、お金が降ってきたの。それからパーッとそれを拾ったのさ。
いや。
本当だって。知らない？ミレニアムタワーで爆発があってさ、そこから大量の札束が降ってきた事件。
あ、知ってます。じゃあ秋山さんはその金を？
そう、だいたい100万くらいだったかな。死に物狂いで拾い集めたよ。
Nice
この
work.
金さえあれば俺はもう一度人生をやり直せるってな。
なんか運がいいんだか悪いんだか分かんねえ感じですね。
まあな。だがその時の俺にとってその100万円は
That's like
命と同じくらい大切な
the
金だった。
yen. The largest note was like 1,000, wasn't it, or is it 10,000? Because I'm gonna be real, getting a million yen from notes sounds a bit crazy.
町のゴロつきさ。あの頃からこの町はホームレス狩りとか言って路上で寝ているホームレスを襲うような遊びが流行っていたからな。
待ってください。それじゃもしかしてその時に秋山さんを助けたのが？
そう、新井さんだ。当時新井さんは金村工業に入ったばかりのチンピラだった。そのチンピラが俺から金を盗んだ連中から金を取り上げ、ホームレスの俺にわざわざ届けてくれたんだ。
どうしてそんなこと？
新井さんは涙を流して喜ぶ俺に言ったよ。俺がこの町を変えてみせますって。
兄貴、
俺はその時誓ったんだ。もし俺がこの100万円でのし上がれた時はこの人にかけてみようって。
かける？
ああ、この人ならカムロ町って猿山のボスになれるかもしれないって思ったんだ。カムロ町ってのは弱いやつから強いやつまでいろんな連中が集まってくる、いわば一つの群れみてえな場所だ。だが集まってくるやつらには一つだけ共通してることがある。
何ですか？
夢だよ。
Oh, yeah, a dream. That also works too. A dream.
カムロ町に飛び込んだ人間は皆必ず夢を見てる。
夢？
いい女を抱きたい、金持ちになりたい、えばりたい。どんなちんけなもんであってもここに集まる連中には皆それぞれの夢がある。だがその夢を叶えられるやつはごくわずかだ。そして人は夢を諦めない。生きてくのに必要なもんだからさ。わかるか？
はい。
皆夢を見続けていたい。だからこそこの町では人に夢を見せられる人間が求められているんだ。
それが新井の兄貴だと？
ああ、良くも悪くも人間ってのは強さに憧れる。新井さんにはその絶対的な強さがある。俺はそう思ってんだ。ボスがいない猿山は機能しない。この町は今強いボス猿が必要なんだ。カムロ町って町は今までずっとそのボス猿を極道に求めてきた。 だが桐生一馬というカリスマが去った今、ボス猿となれる人間はいない。
Hear you.
機能しなくなった町から猿は去っていってしまう。強いボス猿を求めてな。
なんか深い話っすね。
まあちょっと回りくどい言い方だったが、
What are you sorry
要は
about?
それくらい俺は荒井さんにかけているってことだ。
Here I was worried it was like, here I was thinking you had like a serious thing because some people in this chat were just sort of like, oh no, I've been banned, depresso, I'm 39. Like people were coming to me with their woes and shit. And here you are just being like, you've been diagnosed with huge titties.
Jin the Cerberus paid me to say you've been diagnosed with huge titties. And it's terminal.
Uh-huh.
俺、秋山さんの夢のためにも新井の兄貴を必ず見つけます。
Absolutely
このお金は
fucking mess you.
ありがたく使わせていただきます。
おう、何か分かったら俺に連絡してくれ。
はい。
ただいま。あ、木戸さん。
あ、どうもっす。
That took longer than I expected. Maybe I should go check in on Lily-chan. What are you talking about? You've got debts to collect. Did someone have a deadline today? Today? Try 3 days ago. People don't pay on time unless you remind them. What if they skip town? Alright. Alright. So, who are we talking about again? The owner of Marimba. That bar in the Champion District? Now go collect that money. Marimba. Right. You promised you'd take care of it on time, but you went and blew it off like always. Did I? Well, there's no time like the present, right? Just make sure you actually go this time. Yeah. And when I joked to them saying, Dr. It's terminal. You think you like men. Oh no! There are some people that think that is a death sentence, but fuck those guys. Akiyama-san, this is Tanuma from Elise. Hey, Tanuma, what's up? Lily showed up for work. If you have time to spare, you should come give her some pointers. Right. Okay, be there in a bit. Great. See you soon. Ana-chan's not gonna like this, but I better pop by at least for a minute. Everyone's buzzing about Forex, the foreign currency exchange. Why not see how it can make your savings grow? We recommend our foolproof principles protected Forex plan. You literally have nothing to lose. Interested parties are invited to join with the CEO Forex information as requested a cashback special. Aha. Guarantee of principle? Sheesh, people still follow for this exchange crap? Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing who's running this dog and pony show. Guess I could head over to Sanrio Avenue for a few laughs at some point. No idea where that is, but I need to go to the Champions District. Oh, I'm really pissed off right now, and I don't care who they are. I just want to punch someone. You look like you could take a few punches. Alright, I'm gonna punch the shit out of you. Miss me with that bully shit. Hello there. I already said hi, Jin, so hi. Cookie for Jin! Enjoy this cookie while I kick Sanji's ass. I'm sorry. I took my anger out on you for no reason. I'm cooled off now. Here, take this. A therapeutic 1,000 yen. So, that's like, what? 10 bucks? Around about 10 bucks? Did you see what I said? If a death sentence is being cuddled by big men, count me in. Yes, they just absolutely break your spine in a bear hug. Oh, pardon me. Got a second? Oh, he wants to kick my ass? Alrighty then. Let's go, fatty. Granted, I'm fat too, but I'm allowed to call him a fatty. Oh, what was that?
Jin, the server has paid me to say Grant maybe if smaller people would stop.
If I had smaller ass people? No. I like my Sanji kicking ass lone shark man. He's amazing. Honestly, he's a good fit. That's enough. Thank you for your valuable contribution to my research. Stimulating Steinemann. Is he okay? He's fine. He's fine. Don't worry about it. No. He's on the verge of an evolutionary breakthrough is what he's on. He's gonna be fine. No, do not go to the title. I now have new abilities I can upgrade. Tortoise Spirit, the Azure Dragon Spirit. Why you gotta look at my ass like this? So we got the squat taunt. After grabbing an enemy from the front, a down taunt, boozer, a rising kick, sliding reversal, double kick, double finisher kick, triple finishing kick, YY after double kick after 4 X's. Hell yeah. Counter kick. Quick step attack. An attack executed while quit stepping technique and thingy-madiggy differ. Sure. There we go. Oh, actually, now I remember. I was gonna double check the map and see. So, Earth Angel, Shellick. Okay, so where the fuck is the... Oh yeah, I'm supposed to give Lily chance and corners. I better... Oh, come on! Seriously, I don't get to, like, do this in a different order? Fine. I remember I once code had a K-cam, but it had to be removed for reasons. I think I know the reasons, but it could easily be also chalked up to the fact that people might have been abusing the cake cam for all I know, but, you know, we won't talk any further about people's use of the cake and the himbo cams. Alright, is there someone that wants to fight me again? Oh my god, who is this distinguished gentleman? You look like you know a thing or two about fighting. I have a big reward for you if you can beat me. But don't count on that actually happening. You ready? Giving him a British accent. Oh my god, the rich-looking man has a lot of fucking health. There we go. Get the first bit done. Nice. You accidentally once used the reason I think it got it moved. Ah, okay. I can't believe that just happened. You really got the goods, don't you? Here's the reward I promised, but I guarantee you won't be able to do that again. A gold-plated Steinemann Royale? Bullshit. Oh, no, it's just a Steinemann Royale. Never mind. I thought it was going to be like a legitimate gold-plated one, but... Okay. Fine. Hey, isn't that our scout? Working hard? Don't be slacking off now. Oh, hey there, boss. Don't hey there, boss me. All these girls walking by, you've got to talk to them. Like that one. Aw, some other club got her. I'm just not cut for this job. What, quitting already? It's your choice to make, but you've been a little hasty, don't you think? It's just that nothing's going right. I call out to some girl and she either glares at me or ignores me altogether. I'm starting to get a complex here. Sounds like you talked to a lot of girls. How many leads did you get today? Leads? Come on, you know. How many phone numbers did you get? How many girls? One. You've got to be kidding. I'll be living off breadcrumbs and water at this rate. I'm not too happy about it myself, you know. I wish there was an easier way to make money. Well, I think I can understand how you feel. Just, how are you calling out to these girls anyway? How? Like, normally. Hey, want to be a hostess? Like that. Then what? What if she says she's not interested? I say, oh, come on, why not? Give it a shot. I don't blame them for giving you the stink eye. Maybe it was fate I saw you here today. I'll give you some basic lessons in scouting. Whether you learn anything is up to you. Huh? You mean you can scout, boss? What kind of idiot do you take me for? I tried my hand at all kinds of hostess club jobs before I came to own one myself. Wow, you sure don't mess around. Not when it comes to work. Anyway, that's the trick to getting rich. Now it's time for you to take that first step. Come with me. A friend I know is apparently a moderator for a huge Yakuza Facebook group. What, like a legitimate Yakuza group, or Yakuza like a dragon? Do I have to? Yep. Now get moving. Look, I didn't know, Jin. The Yakuza is very much alive to this day. They could be up in the technologies. There could be a Yakuza Facebook group or some shit. I don't know this. It's been a long time since I've... Don't X to doubt me. It's been a long time since I've been on Facebook. Who knows what the boomers have been up to there. Like, people are turning into neo-Nazis on that platform, and it's because of Facebook not being able to have a better idea on how to kick people out. They're enforcing people to try and stay on their platform longer, and they're unfortunately making it so that you end up in a, like, you know, an alt-right pipeline when you do. Seriously? What a drag. The first rule of scouting: never let a girl pass you by. I've been standing around all day with only one lead to show for it. Proof positive that you've been playing hooky and that you've been playing hooky instead of working. Oh, look, you can talk the talk, boss, and I see what you're saying. I do, but can you walk the walk? How good are you, really? You seem confident enough, so I guess you were probably really something at one point. Still, I get the feeling your skills are pretty rusty. You really want to go there? Okay, give me 5 minutes to do scouting on my own, okay then? You tell me how many leads I should score in that amount of time. Seriously? Well, gee, I don't know. I'm kind of clueless when it comes to that stuff. I noticed. Ouch. Fine. Alright, if that's the way you're gonna be, then I'm not holding back. How about 3 times the leads I pull in? That's 3 people. You need 3 leads to win. Fine. But why 3 particularly? Because a real master ought to be able to do 3 times better than a normal person, right? Or whatever you say. Alright then, here I go. Clock starts now. In the next 5 minutes, talk to as many women as possible and ask for their phone number. Do keep in mind, however, that you're scouting specifically for hostesses. Alrighty. Hello. Nope, that's a girl. That's a child. Oh, hello. Hi there. I'm a scout for a hostess club.
Hi.
You got some kind of nerve scouting a girl when she's with her guy, Pops. I guess I do. My apologies. Oh, my God. Hold up. I ain't gonna let you off the hook. Come here a second. I'm kind of in a hurry. Okay, does the timer pause when I'm fighting the street punk? Hopefully so. Yes, it does. The giant cone, please. Thank you. The Guitar Hero recently updated and now it crashes on launch. Anyway, sorry. Can I go again? Yes, sir. Alrighty. Hello. Hey. Huh? How would you want to talk to me? You're cute. Oh, I see. That's right. What do you think? It's not easy work, but it's good work if you give it your all. Of course. Just leave me your number and I'll be in touch. Nice. Alright, so we scored 1 lead so far and it's been less than a minute. Alrighty. So, hello. I'm the host. I don't know. Oh, I understand completely. Probably have some objective to the industry, but you know, there's a lot of money in it. I do need money, but not that badly. Oh, I see. Get lost. Yeah, I just blew that one. Fuck! Oh, hello, lady. Hello, hello, hello. Hi there. That's right. You're a real beauty. Pretty popular. She's an impressionable woman. Hey, just what do you think you're doing on my turf? What? This isn't anyone's turf. Oh my goodness. Okay, if we can somehow like play it off where it's like, oh man, like look at this, like, you know, we're both like fighting for you, like, you know, you've got what it takes. Alrighty. Come on, come on, come on, lady. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. It's okay. You sure are strong. In my business, I have to be. What do you think? You ever worked at... I wonder if I'll be any good. You'll be fine as long as you keep moving. I can't, like, you know... I can't do the thingamadiggy of, like, only, like, you know, doing this slowly. I need to do this quickly. I've got 3 minutes to find a third lead. Alright, so they're talking... Okay. Hello? Hey, I'm a scout for the... I'm sensing a little reluctance. This could be your chance to break into one of today's hottest careers. Whoa, yikes. Sorry. Oh, I thought because of her... God damn you. Alright, fine. Hello? Hi there. Perfect timing. I work at a club now, and I was just wondering if I should try somewhere else. Really? I could help you with that. May I ask your name? So tell me, what sort of place were you looking for? It has really strict quotas. I'm thinking about finding someplace a little more laid back. Not our problem. Our club has no quotas whatsoever. Yay. I've scored a lead. Alrighty. Hello? Huh? I'm a scout for a hostess. She speaks. Sorry to bother you. Goodbye. God damn it. Alright, hello? I'm a scout. You got me there. Believe it or not, actually only 32, so do you ever... No wonder. I knew there was something about you. Never thought about switching clubs. Ooh, she got some Roomba. She got some Roomba on her. Oh, there's the man. Hey, you, what are you doing down to my girl? Should drop your finger for that. Absolutely not. Excuse me while I kick your ass, Yakuza. Come on. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Bam, boom. Absolutely no time at all kicking their asses. You're good. Sorry about that, mister. Chikon has a really short fuse. Now, what do you say to the nice man, Chikon? Sorry. Can I make it up to you? I hear you out on that hostess thing. Sure, I'll get in touch with you later. Hell yeah, that's 4 leads. Hello? Phew. Well, I managed to talk to most of the best candidates anyway. You went on a Deadpool and Wolverine ad where they went on a date? Lol. Harder than you remembered, eh, boss? Oh, you managed to get 4 leads in only 5 minutes? I could have done even better if I were younger. Wow, boss, you really meant business out there. Now you've got me all motivated. I'm gonna go and give it everything I've got. Excellent. That's all I can ask. Good luck. Yes, sir. And the boss emerges with dignity intact. I got more than 3. I've gained 5,000 experience for my troubles. Hell to the fucking yes. What the hell? She's a bit older than the other girl, but I think there's a really yeah, she's cute and sexy. Just seeing her dressing okay. Let's get in there and request her. Nice. She might be old, but she's the new girl. I'm here to train Lily-chan. She did? Yes, sir. She's waiting in the back room. Oh, before you go, here are the funds we set aside for her training. Please limit your spending on her to this salon. Yes, I don't have much choice. Good idea keeping this separate from the club finances, though. 100,000 yen in training funds. I'll assign Nikoi to assist you. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you, sir. I'll help however I can. Sounds good. Now then, let me show you to the back room. Please pick out an outfit for your hostess. Choose different types of clothing, makeup, and other items. There's only a small number of clothes available to you at first, but you'll get more as you go along. Getting new clothes and accessories cost money. Do your best to go by the funds that we give. At our club, our girls go out on the club floor, enter 3 times during the workday. There's a short rest period between each shift. During this time, you can adjust her outfit or provide additional training. Talk more about training next time. Hello there, beautiful. Alright, let's have a look. So, outfit. We've got the halter top, the mermaid dress, the mini skirt, the spaghetti strap dress. That is a vividly colored sexy dress. Sexy and cute. Seductive and elegant.
Looking in your eyes.
It's mature standard dress.
Free your mind.
Chic and mature charm. Alright, hang on.
Life's a game.
So right now her motivation and her stresses are low, her looks are a C, her smarts are a B.
Thinking about you.
Alright, so
Into the beat of my heart.
eyebrows are 3. Eyelashes, we're gonna go... There's barely any difference. Oh, there we go. Okay, we'll only go with the 1. We'll go light. We'll go brown for her eyes. No, we're not gonna go raccoon. Top, type 3, type 3, type 2, type 3. Alright, we're gonna go with type 2. We're gonna go with the red. Eyeshadow. What's up? Eyeshadow. Glitter. Hell yeah. Color contacts. Alright, let's look at the lipsticks. Actually no, let's go with 1. Let's go for a little bit of a matte. Let's go for a light matte there. And then done. So that's her thingies. And then accessories. Clean, simple, and fresh. Inexpensive but showy. Make you feel like a cute girl. Necklace, we want the chain necklace. The ring. Cute ring accented by the heart-shaped accent. High class encrusted, ornate. Alright, let's go with the... Oh, wait, hang on. Can I... Nope, I do not have the thingamajiggies for that. Watches. Simple designer. And gorgeous is like... I don't know if... Nah, let's not do it. Girls should not have watches in, like, you know, the whole, like, you know, flirtatious business. Let's see. So all of these are 12s. Chic with a bold onyx. Goes well with flashy outfits. Exudes an air of maturity. All right, we're gonna go with a mature kind of thing. So that's our accessories. So we're gonna put that in there. Mature. So that's gonna be our, like, our quote-unquote mature. Chic and mature charm. Seductive and elegant. Mature standard dress. Sure, actually, let's go with that. Let's look at the accessories for that. We only had... Makes any of them just a bit more classic. Yeah. There we go. Let's make it. Let's make it.
Do you know how much I miss you, babe? I just want to feel for you.
Go.
Do you know that you make me a lady?
So that costs like 50,000. Why are you looking? There we go. Why are you? Do you not like it? What? No! Oh no! Oh no! No! What have I done? What have I done? Oh no! Oh no! Nobody's requesting. No! Oh no! I need a refined girl to teach me how to live. Alright, so that's what one person has said. Refinement to the max. Okay, so we need refinement. That is terrible! Refinement and modesty. Alright, we're looking for refinement and modesty. Alright, let's have a look, So, seductive and elegant, no. Chic and mature. Sexy and cute, no. Mature, standard, elegant. So, chic and mature.
Looking in your eyes.
Done.
Free your mind.
So...
Life's a game of give and take.
Refreshing, inexpensive, showy. of these help. None of... Oh my god.
Into the beat of my
Let's go back to... high class. Luxurious. Nice. Simple. Maturity. Flashy. Chic. Luxurious. Alright, let's go with the Onyx band.
Do you know how much I miss you, baby? I just want to feel for you.
She likes this.
Do you know that you make me a lady? I just wanna
Why are you on? What is going on? No! What's going on? Oh my god, what am I doing wrong? Where's the fucking refinement? I have scoped out, and this sucks. The laid back, like, come on. Is it too much? Like... Like, because, yeah, that she can mature.
looking in your eyes.
I'm just gonna turn off all the fucking things. Hi there, little Incineroar. No, we're not doing eyeshadow. We're gonna get rid of the glitter. I'm gonna keep the lips. No, not the.
Thinking
Not
about
cancel the changes. Done with those changes.
Listen to the beat of my heart.
Accessories. Earrings. Alright, let's take those off.
Be with you.
There's gotta be a, like... Why are you so fucking stressed?
Do you know how much I miss you, baby? I just want to feel for you. Do you know that you make me a lady?
Oh my god, what is... That's made her ref... Oh my god, what is... What the shit? Do you use her every night? This is literally the first... This is the first night. Like... Sometimes when you give them a day. Like... Look, I know the cabaret shit from, like from Yakuza 0, but, like, until I finish the, like, the dressing ensemble, I have no fucking, like, indicators for, oh, the dress does this in the thingy-madiggies. Like, oh my god. Ugh. Time to pay Marimba a little visit. Just gotta stroll over to the... Erg. Like, why was it... She made, like, no fucking money, I'm pretty sure. She's meant to be trying to, like, make 3 million yen, and she's only made, like, 500,000 so far. Oh, another man wants to fight me. Sure. Let's get this rage of failure out of my system. Batter up. Oh, cool, I leveled up. Nice. Yeah. That would hurt. Yay! Got myself some soup though. Alrighty then. Hello. God, she's strong. Wait. She. I heard a thingy. Where's the thingy? Where's the... And then it goes. Like, what the... Okay, I think she was for something. And then... Oh, hello. Ah, damn you. Mambra, this is the place. It's locked. Anyone home? It's Akiyama from Sky Finance. And no response. Huh. Guess I'll have to come back later. No, you idiot. Drama Queen? This is the place Lily said she used to work. Get fucking back. Hey, cutie. You into that sort of thing? I'm sorry? You were taking a mighty long look at Drama Queen there. So what if I was? Oh, you naughty boy. You know that's an Okama bar, right? What am I saying? Of course you do. An Okama bar? You serious? You look awfully interested. Just saying. Don't worry, though. I'm not judging. Oh, it's not like that. It's just... I know this girl who used to work here, so... Sure you do. I'm in denial here, too, honey. The manager's here totally my type, but he's straight as an arrow. Says he only dates real girls. Sorry to hear of that. Not the most open-minded guy in the world, huh? Nope. But hey, forget him. Come have a drink over here where I work. I'll give you a stiff one on the house. Sorry, but I have to take a rain check. Things to do, places to be. You know, maybe some other time, okay? Anything you say, hot stuff. I'll be waiting. Drama Kings and Okama Bar? Why would Lily lie about working there? Maybe I should head inside. No, don't. Oh my gosh. What the? Sorry, stretching. There we go. What the? Oh my god! He's dead! Must have been like this for a few days now by the smell of it. Jesus Christ. Oh, it's another Shibata family crest. Guess that means the owner was in cahoots with a Shibata? Reeks in here. It's probably been rotting for a while now. Lighters with the bar's name on it. They probably hand them out to customers in the hopes that other people see it. Viral marketing or whatever. These are just like the one Lily-chan had. What is my hand doing? Oh, the tracking just, you know... This is a Twitch stream. Alright, I'm gonna turn off... I'm gonna disconnect the... Because whenever I'm holding a controller, the hand tracking does not know how to manage it. It does not know. There's a lot of blood. Nothing but a stain on the floor now. Cool. That's probably all I'm gonna find. Drama Queen's manager is dead. Murdered, and a few days ago by the looks of it. He was practically naked, too. Just like how Kido-chan found old man Kanamura. Was it the same killer? Maybe someone from the Shibata family? You okay, sweetie? You look like you just saw a ghost. Oh, yeah. You don't sound okay. Why don't you come relax over at my bar? I appreciate the offer, but I've got places to be, sorry. You're no fun. Bye-bye. Sticking around here will just land me in more trouble. Need to get back to Sky Finance. Excuse me while I pick up the thingy-majiggy that was here earlier. The Taihei Boulevard B2. There we go. Boom. Running. My goodness, Kamurocho cannot have a month. It cannot have a year without shit going weird, can it? Yep, cool. Let's fight you. Let's get something for it. Let's do this. Bam, boom, bing, ding, 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 ding. Ow, forget it. You can keep it. Here you go. Oh, wrong way. I need to go this way. I need to go that way. Ugh, excuse me. Such a yawny face. I'm sorry. And another guy who wants to fight me. Here we go. unfortunately, because I took off my hand tracking, doing a thumbs up doesn't help. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. Promise. Please, take this. I got a stinky 5,000 yen. Good for me. Manual save here. Why does it give me manual and, like, in the list when so far all I've been getting is manual saves? There's been no automatic saves in Yakuza 4 Remake. There's also been no automatic saves in Yakuza 3. So why are they giving me this convention of, like, oh, save? Like, why aren't they just saying save 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and all that shit? Oh, here's another guy that's dropped his wallet and wants me to give me mine. Here we go. There we go. I wish I could keep the weapons I pick up off the ground. This isn't a remake, this is a remaster, it's just a graphic. Yeah, no, sorry, remaster, not remake. So, Yakuza 1, 2, and... Like, Yakuza 1 and 2 had Yakuza Kiwami, which is a remake, but Yakuza 3 was, like, the first that was not a remake, but a remaster for me in my, like, playthroughs. So... Alrighty.
参ったちょっと花ちゃん大変だよ
Hana-chan, you have not been... Oh my goodness, what has happened to you?
花ちゃんしっかりしろ
Hana-chan! Uh-oh.
社長、お帰りなさい。
What happened?
一体何があったんだ
それが
Explain yourself! Sorry, I put my hands back on, so...
ああ、木戸さん、ごめんなさい。ちょっと買い物に行ってて。
すいません。勝手にお邪魔してます。
Okay, so the
社長、今ちょっと取り立ての仕事に出かけちゃってて。あ、でもそんなに長くはかからないと思うから待っててください。あ、お茶出しますね。
お構いなく。
どうしたんですか？何か忘れ物とか？
いやー、ちょっと秋山さんに確認し忘れたことがあって、携帯にかけたんですけど繋がらなくて。
ああ、そうでしょう。社長いっつも寄り道して遊んでるのを邪魔されるのが嫌で携帯の電源切ってるんですよ。おかげで仕事が片付かない。
秋山さんらしいですね。
I don't think anything gets done in this office. Okay, alright, hang on. Okay, you heard that opening bit, right? Did you hear that opening bit? Because let me tell you something. Let me go through my, like, opening, let me go through my iTunes. That opening, I don't know how many of you have existed during, like, the early days of YouTube and what have you. But, like, that sound there, like, like, I can't explain it, but give me a minute to, like, get the, give me a minute. There's a playlist. Hang on a second. Let me find my playlist, because it's, like, a history of music and what have you. So, give me a second. It's you know the one? Yeah, I know you know the one. Just give me a minute. Right now, the thingy-majiggy is processing. Alright, give me a second. Alright, I'm going to memes. Alright, let me just scroll down. Also, how is it sorting by the... Alright, give me a second. It is... Here it is. You ready for this? So, if you're watching this in the VOD, you're probably not going to hear this, but this is what so many YouTube... If you had a tutorial, you'd be hearing this. If it will play. Like, it did the noise at the start. This song you just heard in any YouTube tutorial. Like, what would happen is like you would just be listening to this. It would just be like a some sort of like webcam or like just a recording of the desktop, and someone would get like, they'd open a text file and they would just be like, "Hello, I will now teach you how to do," and it's like for whatever thing. It's like how to make a Minecraft server or something like that when they were first back in beta. So yeah, if you want to know what the song is, Dreamscape from the 009 sound system. It's like when they opened up with that noise, I was like, holy shit. That was some fucking nostalgia. Someone clip it for me, please. I can't clip it at this point here because if I click on the 30-second thing, it's probably not gonna catch it. Cookie for Hawaiian pizza. I need you to go back a little bit into the, when you do the clip, to like the part of the Yakuza that I'm talking about. You'll know it if you listen to old YouTube. When it does the fucking like music thing. Like, oh.
降りない人たちだな。すみませんけど帰ってもらえます？
Makes me feel old. Oh, don't worry, it made me feel old too.
それでも用があるって言うんなら、私が相手に。
Yeah!
危ない、花ちゃん。
They did it again! They did the YouTube noise again! What the fuck is with Yakuza? I gotta clip it. Someone clip it. Sorry, Chief. I tried to stop him, but no. I should have been here to protect you. I'm the one who should apologize. Was it those Shibata goons again? No, it was some guy named Midorioka from the Hatsushiba clan. Hatsushiba clan? That's right. And he said something about their boss and Shibata being really tight. The guy really knew how to run his mouth. He kept telling me stuff I didn't even ask about. It sounds like Hatsushiba clan was helping the Shibata clan track down Kido. They're after Kido-chan? Where is he, anyway? That's just it. Kido-san was here when they showed up. Midorioka's guys jumped him. Then they hauled him off to who knows where. They took Kido? He didn't stand a chance. He was completely outnumbered. Chief? Oh, sorry. Just thinking about something. So they took Kido-chan. The question is, why? No idea. Oh, that Midorikawa guy also stole our client registry. Sounded like that's what brought him here in the first place. He said he was just borrowing it. But I seriously doubt he'll be bringing it back anytime soon. Thank you for doing the old YouTube noise, little Incineroar. Thank you. A registry. What would they want with that? Who knows? I'm more worried about Kido-san. Hang on, does it work? Does it have the thingy-majiggy that I'm thinking? Does it have, like, the first one? Okay, so... Okay, so they have it for the second one. Okay. Alright, resume. Agreed. Sounds like I need to pay those Hatsushiba goons a little visit. Collect on what they borrowed. Go get 'em, Chief. Just don't do anything crazy, okay? I'm not gonna leave you like this, Hana-chan. And where the hell are the cops? Didn't anyone see those bastards busted? Don't worry about me. I already called for an ambulance. You really are on top of everything, aren't you? Well, sit tight. I'm gonna go get Kido-chan and that registry back. You got it, Chief. When did I get it? When I did it, it was too far. Yeah, no, fair enough. Oh! Man, oh man, the perfect shot so close I could almost smell it. Or did I forget to wear deodorant? You there. Do you see those tough dudes flashing their muscle like it's nobody's business? Nothing quite as dangerous as a thug with something to prove. But hey, that's what Kamurocho's all about. The glitz, the glamour, the gigantic guys shaking down passerby. Not that I like that as part. Tough dudes? Maybe he's talking about Midorikawa. Hold on there, buddy. Think we can talk for a second? Sorry for flagging you down like that. Mind if we chat for a few? Of course not. I love talking to washed up porn stars. I'm Mac, photographer by trade, observer of humanity at heart. And I mean all of humanity. Right. I'm sorry to break it to you, but I'm actually a money lender. I run a place called Sky Finance, right over there. The name's Akiyama. I was hoping you would be able to fill me in on those tough dudes you were talking about before. Sure thing, Slick. Those scary-looking dudes were filing down the street one after the other, like the world's least cheerful conga lion. Wasn't sure what was happening, but I knew something mega was about to hit. I was practically quaking in my sensible boots. Back up a second. You mentioned something about a shot, too. Did you take a picture of that kind of stuff as it goes down? There aren't any old pictures, man. I've been traveling the world for what feels like eons, searching for the photograph to end all photographs. The perfect shot. Uh-huh. Look at me running my mouth like it's a dang marathon. Akiyama-san, have you ever seen a sight so incredible it made you realize something about the nature of the world? Not that I can remember. Folks call those revelations. A flash of inspiration, a spark in the old noggin, a rush of idea juice flooding your mind. Yeah, that's definitely never happened to me before. Yeah! Then maybe it's about time it does. And what's more, these revelations hold the key to the perfect shot. I'm sure of it. Yeah, sure. I'll, keep that in mind. Anyway, about those tough dudes you mentioned. Hold up! The greatest idea just snapped across my neurons. Maybe you can help me try to find the perfect shot. I mean, sure, but I'd really rather just hear about then it's settled. Come on, it's hunting time, and we're hunting the biggest game of all. Art. I guess I'm just gonna have to put up with this nut job for now. Don't look now, Akiyama-san, but I just caught a glimpse of something good. Train your eyes on that rooftop over there. Something's up with that lady, and you're gonna snap a shot of whatever it is. All you gotta do is whip it out. Your phone, I mean. Etch that moment into digital divinity. Don't worry, the government probably won't see your photos later. What? The government probably won't see your photos later? That sounds like a narc. That sounds like a fucking narc that's like, oh, take a picture of your phone. Don't worry, the government ain't gonna see it. My phone camera, huh? Alright. I'll see what I can do. You can now learn new techniques from yep. Just ask me if you're shooting in the dark and I can recite all that to you verbatim. Really, every word will be the exact same. I should really get an iPhone into my hand or something. The fuck? Oh, I gotta go press a button. The fuck? Are you? The fuck am I watching? Those leaps and bounds were something else. Revelation attend. Hey, Mac, is this the kind of mail you want? Man, there really are some perverted freaks in Kamurocho, but I was able to unlock a new technique from his movements. They were almost a work of art. It's a revelation. The essence of the truth. Wowee, Akira-san, you really did it. I think I'm ready to let my photographic prodigy out in the wild. Guess that means old Mac is an empty nester again. There, big guy. I'll text you whenever I find a new shot, okay? It'll be like I never left. Anyway, think you can tell me about those guys you were talking about before? Oh, right! Totally slipped my mind. I saw them clamber down the stairs and out onto Kenkachi Street, but I lost them right after that. Hard to see through all the buildings, you know? Kenkachi Street. Got it. That's not much of a lead, but at least it's something. Thanks for the info, Mac. You got it, Akiyama-san. May your humble camera lead you to unforgettable discoveries. Cool. Cool. I need to find Kido-chan in our client registry, but I have no idea where the Mirakawa guy went. Better start asking around. Looking for the perfect shot? Then I have the newsletter for you. This week, bring 2 beauties. First up, we have a kidnapper who's taken to the rooftops. You can also see a sexy detective facing off against the kidnapper in question. Definitely a sight to see. And from number 2, a married couple wages a bitter war in Little Asia that will shock a kung fu action star. I just can't get enough. Tortoise. The Azure Dragoon. Boost the speed of combo attacks. Smash an enemy's head against a guardrail. Pole crush. Wall smash. A man is dead. We call 911? No? Okay, the girl can get her panties back from his corpse if she still wants them. Hopefully so. Observing the surroundings. And moving on. Oh. Excuse me. I gotta get Keto in the client list. I should ask the people around for info. Hey, you got a second? Sure, how can I help you? Did you see a group of Yakuza come by here maybe 2-3 hours ago? Yakuza? You know, you're in Kamurocho, right? There shouldn't be such a surprise. Oh, and they were probably dragging someone behind them. There was someone going on over here earlier. I could hear the shouting from all the way over on Nakamichi Street. Nakamichi? So you didn't see anything then? Oh, heavens no. If I had, I certainly wouldn't be standing here now like nothing happened. I usually turn heel and run when I see fights breaking out. Huh. Okay then. Thanks anyway. This moneylender has been in one mess. I think it's called Sky. Yeah, I think about it. Maybe it was money problems. Yep. No, not that. Got caught in some trouble, but honestly, I'm not surprised. That Akiyama is a real strange guy. You know? Of course I do. Ain't no one in Kamurocho underworld who hasn't heard of him. But I'd keep my distance if I were you. Yeah, I heard some Yakuza group busted into his place though. The rich never gonna fight their own battles. It's just stupid to start messing with them. Believe me, you don't want to ruffle Akiyama's feathers. I'd never do anything stupid like that. The admirable Noe-san. Maybe I'll have my fortune told. she's always got this weird green afro guy at her side, and there's rumors that she doesn't really tell you your fortune, and her prices are super high. Receiving item packs and receiving completion things. You can also speak to your universities around town. Can I really get my fortune read here? Maybe I'll stop by next time I worry about my future. That makes no sense. Excuse me, do you have a moment? What's up? Have you seen a group of Yakuza around here? They probably had someone who looked all beat up with them. Oh yeah, I saw them. They're dragging some guy through town. They were really scary. They kept telling him to walk faster. See where they went? They went up the street, you know, towards the theater. They really stood out. I bet a lot of other people saw them too. That right? Okay. Towards the theater. Hello? What's up with you guys? Oh, no, you're just celebratory. Never mind. Hello? Excuse me, miss. You didn't happen to see some shady-looking guys roll through here a while ago, did you? I'm talking Yakuza types. Oh, I did. I'm pretty sure they were heading towards the theater square. Really? Thanks. Of course. Good luck. Sorry to bother you, miss, but have you seen anyone who looks like Yakuza around here lately? There would have been a group of them. Yakuza? As a matter of fact, I just saw some men like that over in Theater Square. They were humongous. Nobody in their right mind would go anywhere near those brutes. Huh. Guess I'm not in my right mind then. Anyway, thanks. Please be careful. Something here. Locker key, I-2. Excuse me, those. I send like 100 emails a day, so listen when I tell you this. Keep your emails organized by folder. That way you don't get all flustered when you get like 40 at once. Cool, thank you. Alrighty, I'm actually gonna go and save my game here. Hopefully that saved it. Because, quite frankly, it is getting close to the end of the night, and I still have work the next day. And, you know, I don't want to go too far into it and get, like, caught up in, like, hundreds more cutscenes. Especially since I want to do another stream on Friday, or Thursday night for the American peeps and what have you. So, yeah. Also, there was, like, a few things I wanted to, like, bring up that I forgot to do because I kept getting distracted by the video game. And one of them is that I was actually fortunate enough to find... So as you guys are probably aware, I've been like doing my best to lose weight using calorie restrictions and what have you, which, you know, in the first week and a half so far has been actually a really good thing for me because I've, you know, kept an eye on what I've been eating. So instead of accidentally having like fast food 3 to 5 times a week, so far I've only had it happen once on Saturday as a cheat day. Now I'm thinking of having Saturdays as my cheat day, which should be okay. But one of the other things that I'm doing is I, like, after doing a calorie restriction for a little while, I feel like I want to, you know, be able to do a little more exercise to help improve that. And I really like doing cardio stuff, such as walking. And, you know, sometimes it's easy to do that, but with the night, like, finishing work and at the end of the day, it's, like, really fucking dark out and, like, spookies. And I have learned, you know those walking pads you can get for your desk? I've normally been disappointed by a lot of them because they've normally been a weight limit of like 120 kilos maximum. I'm over 120 kilos, so that didn't help me for a long time. However, I have found one that isn't limited to 120 kilos, but is actually limited to 145 kilos. And I've added it to my throne. Check out my throne. Anyway, actually, yeah, the link is already there. Any whoosies. So yeah, so I've added it to my throne as like a featured item that people can like crowdfund into. I will probably do like a crowdfund thingy-majiggy with it maybe on the Friday or the Saturday. I'll bring it back up again. Because like I actually like that there's like a walking pad that I'm able to walk on. Because I'm gonna be real with you, I love the idea of having a walking pad for my desk. Like there's improvements that I want to do to like my desk setup in the future that isn't to do with the technology. Like I don't want to get new monitors. I don't want to get new monitors yet, especially with my kind of finances. And I don't want to get any new computer parts because they should be good for another 2 or 3 years. But things that I would like are maybe like a different chair, something like that's way more for like ergonomics and such rather than just, ooh, here's a cool leather gaming chair. I want something with like breathability. I want to get like a standing desk so I can alternate between sitting and standing. So then now I'm not sitting all day, which would be great. And if I can get a sitting standing desk, it means I can also get a walking pad to go under the desk. So then that way I can like walk while I'm at my desk, which I think would be really cool. So yeah. Any whoosies, that's enough about me. We're gonna end the stream tonight, and I'm gonna have a look and see who is online and see if we can go for a little raid. Let me have a look and see who there is. Ooh, Valkyrie is still doing a little bit of Final Fantasy 14s. I actually recognize where they are at this point. But I want to go for... You know what? We're gonna go for Kahlua. We're gonna go for... So Gucci Feline, aka Kahlua, has been on break from streaming for a while, and recently this week, they've actually gone back into streaming, which I think is really cool, and they're going through Crash Bandicoot right now. I highly recommend them. Like, if you're wondering who's the voice behind, like, the leg, voice where he's like, give me that leg, boy, it's Kahlua. Kahlua is the line that does it, so I highly recommend you like check out Kahlua and what have you, and we'll go raid into them so you can see what their stuff is about and everything. Okay, so give me a second. Similar, smaller size, rating me. Where is Kahlua? Kahlua. Where the fuck? Kahlua. Here we go. So we're gonna go right into Kahlua. Give me my... So we're gonna go with the gunny mode, and we're gonna say give the Zeeb leg back. Gun emote. That is going to be our raid message. If you don't have my gun emote, you're welcome to use whichever other kind of emote you want. And yeah, we're going to go raid into Kahlua shortly and demand for my leg back. I just want to say thank you everyone who came along to tonight's stream. I greatly appreciate it. It might have been a little bit short, but don't you worry. I will be back online Friday morning Australia time or Thursday evening US time for use as we go through Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine. I hope you all have a good morning, afternoon, night, wherever you are, and I'll hopefully see you all next time. Bye for now.